What is up, and welcome to the PHNX Suns pregame show, brought to you by our friends at Michelob ULTRA. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, all great taste. I'm your host, Despo. We got Gerald, Saul, and Flex with you, and we got the Phoenix Suns versus the Miami Heat, two teams that are sliding a little bit right now. Guys, how are you today?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good. Doing great.
Good. So everybody's recovered from whatever the hell last night was, huh?
Yeah, I flushed that right away, man. I really did. Didn't spend too much time on it. Watched a little bit of tape and just flushed it.
So before we get into everything, did you have any thoughts you wanted to share on last night? You were the one that did not get to vent, or whatever we called last night's hour-and-a-half long session. Did you have any thoughts about last night's game?
Not really. Not really. I thought it was just a sloppy game overall. You guys mentioned it. You guys hit every single point throughout the post game show. It was just a lot of the same mistakes you've been seeing this team make. That have just come back to haunt them over and over and over and over again. If you don't take care of the ball and you give up a lot more shot opportunities to the other team, most likely you're going to lose. I don't care who the fuck is on your team. So that's my venting.
Yeah, you nailed it, brother. Play good basketball. Be pros. Just do the stuff that you're supposed to do. And I do want to correct something. I went back and looked at our show, and I said a couple times, be professional, be pros. I don't mean it in a little term that these guys aren't trying hard and they're not being professionals. I'm just saying at this level of basketball, there's a certain way that you expect these guys to perform. And I thought yesterday was way below that in regards to turnovers and some mental mistakes. And to me, that's what makes you a pro, right? So that's what I meant. But I no way, shape, or form am I taking a shot at any of these guys' professionalism, because they're there for a reason. So we just expect them to do better than yesterday.
We will get into tonight's game in just a second, but there are two things we need to address before we get into it. First is Eli's question. The real question is, Espo wearing the purple pants? Yes, I am. Unfortunately, because our internet doesn't work in our studio, you can't see. So take my word for it. But what I really want to
get up and show.
You can always stand up, dude.
I'm in a walk-in closet.
Oh, you have to do is stand up. You have to stand up to get out anyway. You crawled into there.
Do it.
We're not letting you off the hook. You can't stay there and then not stand up.
I will tweet a photo. I'd have to stand on this. I will.
I got you.
I will take.
I
will send a picture.
I'm sorry.
To prove it. Anyways, let's get into. Let's get into the big thing that did happen today. It was Devin Booker being named the Western Conference Player of the Week. Yeah, that's right, Luca. Devin Booker got named Player of the Week. 42 points, 5 rebounds, 3.8 assists over that week. Obviously, didn't have a winning record, which is surprising. Usually, you have to have a winning record to win this. Gerald, what was your takeaway from Book getting this honor?
I was kind of surprised. I mean, good for him. Like I think it was his 9th in his career, 2nd time this season. He obviously had a tremendous week and was playing out of his mind. I mean, you could make a case for Luka for sure, but I just felt like Book. We've seen so many times where Book has not won this award despite putting up probably the best numbers in the West, because his team was 1-3 or 2-2 or something like that. So it was kind of nice to see him win the award despite being 2-2. So anybody that has a problem with Book winning that award, I can tell you, as the person who tweets this out every single time when he gets nominated for this stupid award, like, there have been a lot of times where he hasn't won just because of team record. So it's not the end of the world that he finally won despite his team record.
Yeah, and Luka wasn't undefeated. right? Luka lost games during his stretch and lost head-to-head to Book. So yeah, I think it's silly. I mean, those numbers. If you're gonna complain about those numbers, wow, like yeah, it's silly though. Oh, what happened?
I don't have nothing to add. Okay. I mean, they both played phenomenal this week. You're splitting hairs in terms of who you want to give it to, and the head-to-head, yeah, that matters. I mean, Luka was averaging 50 this week. I mean, I could see why their fans would be like, "What the hell?" It's a meaningless award. It absolutely means nothing at the end of the day. So,
yeah,
I do think that it's good that Book gets the recognition, and Gerald's right. There's been plenty of times where he didn't get rewarded, even though he was the best player that particular week in the league because their team was terrible. And so this is okay. This is justification in some regards.
I love the fact that we're 3 topics in so far, and Saul has only had one topic that he wanted to jump in on, and it was me standing up because of purple pants. That's it so far. So Saul's on a heater tonight already. One other thing I want to talk about that's come up, and we briefly touched on it, but there has been a lot of talk about the 2-game losing streak being Devin Booker's fault on Twitter. I get that the Twitter X, whatever the hell you're calling it right now, can be a very toxic place, as can our chat at times at postgame. What are your thoughts? And Flex, I'll start with you on, is Booker, it sounds ridiculous. Is Booker the reason they've lost 2 games, the last 2 games?
I'm going to take a page from Gerald last night. If you think that Devin Booker is the reason why we're losing these games, I question your knowledge on basketball. I question your agenda, and I question how you even digest the game of basketball. It's just, there's no, he's not the reason we lost these 2 games. Is there a world where I like Devin to score 30 instead of 40 or 45 or 50 or 60, right? Is there a world where that? Yeah, I'm actually thinking tonight is a night where I don't want to see a 40-point score. I want to see a bunch of 20-point scores, right? But in no way, shape, or form is it his fault, man. I mean, he's going out there, he's taking advantage of what the defense gives him, and he's doing it. See, if he did it at a rate that wasn't efficient, I would have a problem with it. But the efficiency tells me, what are you going to do, man? Like, he takes the shot. If he doesn't take the shot, you want him to pass the ball. But the chances of him making the shot, shooting 70%, are better than Eric Gordon, right? So, I mean, you take the points. You take what the defense gives you and you do it. If he weren't so efficient, I might have a problem with it. But he's efficient, man. He's not the reason.
I'll jump in here because I saw this all last night. I did rewatch the game tonight, and I watched it from a Kevin Durant perspective because a lot of KD fans were unhappy that Book did what he did. I think there was maybe a handful of times where Devin Booker had the opportunity to be able to maybe throw the ball out to Kevin Durant or swing the ball. He opted to take a shot. And in about 3 of those 5 instances, if he misses, you look back at it and you're like, that's a bad shot. Like, that's just a bad shot. But he didn't. He made those, all 5 of them. And so you can kind of live with that. The thing that I'm always going to go back to is, man, I still cannot believe that we are in game 44, 45, whatever it is, and we are still talking about an offense that stands still. Like, I mean, multiple possessions, they're just standing still. And what is the ramifications of that? The lack of ball movement, the lack of player movement, the lack of more opportunities that you give yourself to give other guys wide open shots, even Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant's been largely a very good team player in terms of he doesn't really force his shot. He turned the ball over a little bit last night. Well, not a little bit. He's 7 turnovers, way too much for one individual. But overall, I'm still displeased with the lack of movement. There was several possessions when it's like as soon as Booker got the ball, everybody just stood still. And when you have an offense like that, you're kind of telling them, okay, it's your show. You do what you got to do. And so that's the thing that I do not like the most about this is that, yes, Book is catching the heat for shooting a phenomenal percentage and making a majority of his shots, which I don't agree with. At the same time, I do think Kevin Durant should be a little bit more involved on the offense in terms of shooting the ball. But the reason why both are not happening is because the offense is stagnant. It's always stand and watch, stand and watch, stand and watch. And I'm over it. So this one, to me, goes on the coaching staff. You got to be better in terms of getting Kevin Durant the ball, running sets. And if the shoe was on the other foot, I'd be saying the same thing about Devin Booker. Like, you got to get him involved in the offense. But you can't do it when you're just sitting in the corner or just standing at the top of the key when somebody's driving baseline, and that's it. And the other three guys are standing on the side too. It's got to be better than that.
Yeah, it's a problem we've seen early in the season too. Like, Kevin Durant had quite a few high scoring performances early in the year in games that they lost, and the narrative then wasn't, it's Kevin Durant's fault, he's shooting too much. It was the ball needs to move, and when guys get on a heater with this particular roster, the other guys kind of get complacent a little bit. They stand, they don't cut, they don't move as much. So it's kind of a failure on everybody's part when that happens, because you can't just defer to a guy because he's having a hot shooting night. Like, we saw it a lot last week where Book is going off, and then guys just kind of stand there like, well, he's got it. He's shooting at 70%. He's got this. And that comes back to bite you, especially in those fourth quarters when Book goes to the bench and your group with KD and Beal is not, they're not in the groove. They're not in rhythm. So it's just funny to me that this conversation comes up when we saw guys deferring to a hot shooting superstar early in the season when it was KD. And back then it was, well, KD's not getting enough help. Now it's happening to Book, and it's, well, Book is being a ball hog. And I'm sorry, but in a game where you shot 19 fewer times than your opponent, when you committed 23 turnovers, when you've made all of these self-inflicted, missed 9 free throws, why are we pointing to Book? Like, there's so many different things from last night's game where they shot themselves in the foot before we even get to Devin Booker.
The other thing I do, I'm sorry, real quick, Espo. The other thing I do want to say is, look at the Pacers, okay? Every 5-man lineup that they had, that they rolled out there, they're not superstars. They're not next level athletes or anything like that. But all 5 of them create just a little bit of concern, and you have to be aware, right? They all put pressure on you to varying degrees, and you have to be cognizant of that. Yep. It's easy when you just have to park yourself on the outside of the key, watching your opposition stand in the corner. That's easy defense. Anybody could do that.
Yeah, we could defend that. Go ahead, Espo.
I spent my day, I tapped into my inner Gerald, okay? I spent my day in a spreadsheet taking a look at the data because, as David Fizdale, the Suns assistant coach, likes to say, take that for data, and I got some for you, all right? Suns, when KD scores 40 or more, 3-1. When Book scores 40 or more, 3-2. Not that different, guys. Suns are 4-9 when KD has 4 or more turnovers in game, 4-6 when Book has 4 or more turnovers. But really, for me, there's a couple keys here. Suns are 8-10 when they shoot fewer than 33 pointers in a game, which is a key number we've talked about. They're 13-17 when they give up 110 points or more to their opponent. And then they're 16-10 when Book has 6 assists or more. But this is the key that I think unlocks everything, and the numbers I'm going to be looking for moving forward. They're 7-2 when Devin Booker has 6 or more assists, and they hold opponents at or below 110 points. To me, This is about defense and ball movement and turnovers. That's everything that is wrong in these fourth quarters. What we've seen when this team struggles, that's the crux of it. You're not playing good defense.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody, you guys all hit on something I kind of want to lump into one. First thing, to your point, Espo, 110 is the whole always been the magic number. Whole team's under 110, and if you distribute the ball more, you're in a good spot. Something Gerald said yesterday was this team they tend to let their offensive struggles leak into their defense across the board, right? And so when guys like Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, KBD, they're not involved, they're not getting touches, they're not scoring, Josh Cole, it just snowballs for the entire team. And so that's why I think, the defense just goes to shit when that happens. I will say this. I'm okay with Book scoring 40. I'm okay with KD scoring 40. what I see, and I went back and looked at the Dallas game. I looked at the Miami, the Pacer game. I looked at the Orlando game. Certain points, there was some points I just couldn't watch. But the one thing I did notice that's the difference between the game they won, where Book had a big game, versus the ones they lost, was other players were significantly contributing on both ends. And in the Pacer game, it was a Book show. There were a couple guys, but it wasn't quite balanced. And then the other night was terrible in Orlando. So Brad Beal, and again, I'm not blaming Brad Beal. When I went back and looked at the Orlando film from yesterday, Brad had multiple opportunities to save them from what happened. Wide open shots that Book or KD got for him. And he just didn't knock them down, man. He started 3 for 3 and then went 1 for 10 the rest of the way. In games like that, if you got a high scorer and Brad Beal is not doing what Brad Beal is supposed to do, they're going to struggle. So the key to me is Brad Beal. You need that third guy to be that outlet, to be that safety valve. When you don't have him, you're playing with fire if you're going to have a high-scoring game from KD or Book. He's the guy that balances out.
Let's take a look at the injury report, see if Bradley Beal, Jusuf Nurkic, who's playing tonight. Bradley Beal is available. Jusuf Nurkic is as well. Bull is out. And some guy named Drew Smith is out for the Heat. So they're pretty much at full strength tonight in Miami. And let's see what the guys are wearing as well. We'll take a look at that as the Suns are wearing the White Association edition against the Heat Culture jersey, which just strikes me as weird, but all right. I mean, I respect the Heat culture and what they do, but the jersey sucks.
Yeah, the jersey is fucking terrible.
It's just kind of cringe to have Heat culture on your jersey. Like, we know Heat culture is a thing. You don't need to put it on your jersey.
Yeah, it's like you giving. Go ahead.
It's like us saying like Suns, and underneath it says it's hot in the summer. Like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, who cares?
Can they just put a picture of Spo and Pat Riley, because that is Heat culture. It's those two guys. There's not much more to it than that on the jersey. Speaking of what we're wearing, Eric, do you have the photo? There we go. Proof. I'm wearing the damn purple pants, everybody. So
are those book ones? Did you get you some?
No, they're Amazon special bright orange shoes is what they are. I'm not getting to the club with them tonight.
Whoa, wait a minute. Time out. That was in the office.
Yeah, I am using my phone to do this here. So I took that earlier today. Okay. I'll send another picture. God, you are so demanding. Like,
I'm just like, hey, man, you can't pull a fast one with superstition, man. That's all.
Is this, a damn dating app? Just asking for all the photos now? Like,
where's the timestamp? I need the timestamp.
How do I know you didn't have that saved in your phone already?
God. You need to hold up a newspaper with it.
Oh man!
If I could actually lift my leg that high, I'd show you, but I can't.
I believe you, brother.
Well, let's talk a little bit about tonight's game. As we mentioned off the top, it's two teams that are backsliding. Suns have lost 2 in a row. The Heat have lost 6 games in a row, 3 of which they haven't even scored 100 points in those games. They've struggled mightily since Terry Rozier came over as well. My biggest fear, because this is a second end of a back-to-back, Eric, if you would.
Oh.
Baba.
Yeah, look at that. We have the sounder for it. My biggest concern with it being the second game of a back-to-back is this a get-right game for Miami because you got tired legs? Jared, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It always takes couple weeks to incorporate a new guy like a Rozier coming in, and this could be a tough one for the Suns. Second night of a back-to-back, they struggled the last couple of games in finding their offensive balance, and the turnovers have been killers. They really struggled with Bam in the first matchup, and this time they've got Jimmy Butler back, which he was not available for the first time around. So it's going to be a tougher game than last time they faced the Heat. The Suns played really well in that game. That was it felt like a get-right game for sure after the Magic win that they had, and they were starting to build some momentum. So hopefully they're able to just match up well with this team like they did last time. But it'll definitely be tougher this time around, and they're going to need, a healthy Nurk to try and contain Bam, and they're going to need Beal to shoot a lot better than he has since he got elbowed in the nose.
I know a lot of people are saying this is a get right game, but I'm like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. This is going to be a tough game to win. You just know that Miami's going to shoot the lights out tonight because they've been 0-6. They couldn't throw a rock in the ocean, but the Suns are coming to town, and it just seems like every single time the Suns show up, everybody shoots the lights out. So you just have that feeling about this team. Plus, listen, they're never out of it. Like they showed last year, even as an 8 seed, they can make it to the finals. So they can wake up at opportune times. Hopefully tonight's not one of those. I hope the Suns get right tonight, but I don't think it's any foregone conclusion. That's for sure.
No, man, it's the Heat, man. Come on. My favorite. Listen, for my money, the best basketball coach on planet Earth. I love Eric Spoelstra. I do respect the Heat culture. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They're on a 6-game losing streak. They have a negative differential. All that means a crock of shit. This is the Heat, okay? You're going to go in there. You're going to play a tough team that's well coached. And I'll continue to say it. This is one of the reasons why I don't worry so much about the Phoenix Suns in game 40-something. Because the Miami Heat, man, I mean, they might be the 8th seed this year and get back to the finals. Listen, any series the Heat is in or any game, I'm taking them serious. So this ain't going to be easy tonight. Suns got to go out there, put their best foot forward. And if they can come out with a dub tonight, I think it changes the entire road trip. I think they can run the table the rest of the way. But if they don't, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, difference is, Frank Vogel ain't Spo.
Right?
No, Frank's not.
I get what you're saying, Flex, about not being worried, but we don't have 2 decades of culture or 15 years of culture building at our disposal right now. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's something we can fall back. Hell, we still don't even understand the identity of this team at this point, and we're like almost 50 games in. So there's a huge difference between what they did last year versus what we might be trying to do, and hopefully we're not in that situation. I'm just saying,
y'all are taking it very little. I'm not saying we're going to do exactly what they did. I'm saying this is why I don't trip at 40 games, because a team like the Heat, and they have more experience. I get it. But, I mean, today's another basketball game on the schedule. We're going to win it or we're going to lose it. If we win it, it turns the trip around. If we lose it, we got to get back to the drawing board and get things right eventually. But tough game. Just going to be a tough game.
I fear Terry Rozier in this game because since going to the Heat, he's only shot 30% and 18% from 3. And that's the kind of guy that feels like he'd get hot against the Suns tonight. Let's see who you guys have.
Hold on real quick. The last game Terry played us, I mean, he killed us.
Yeah.
Just a couple weeks ago, right? I mean, damn, they had 40 on us. So the last time he played a good basketball game was against this defense. So, I would not be shocked if Terry go crazy tonight.
All right, who you guys got and by how much tonight?
Suns by 2.
Same.
Suns by 3.
And I have Suns by 1. A whole lot of confidence in these boxes tonight. Let's take a look at what our friends at BetMGM have this game at tonight. They have the Suns as a underdog at plus 3.5 points and a plus 135 on the money line. So if you're feeling it, get in there on the BetMGM app and place your wagers. We placed a few wagers. Flex, why don't you tell us what your bet was tonight?
I kept it simple tonight, man. I want a dub and try to get that under. We got to play defense to beat this team. They're going to play defense. So, under 130.5 and a Suns straight win. 325 plus 320.
So what do you get?
Mine's relatively simple. I got a plus 550. All points because I don't care about anything else. Jaime Jaquez 8+, Bam 15+, Jimmy Butler 18+, Book 25, KD 20, and Grayson Allen 10. I think those are all doable.
Those are all doable.
You are the only person that goes, oh, I kept it simple. 6-leg parlay.
But those are layups.
Yeah, but all because it's a 6-leg parlay. What if it was like all of them just need to score a point? Like, okay, that's not complex. That's pretty simple.
When we hear simple, it's usually Lindsay going, I'm taking the Suns to score 45 points in the game at a minus 650. Like, that's usually what we hear simple as. So speaking of Lindsay, let's see what she put her money on tonight. It is
what?
Okay. The total points in regulation between 221 to 230 at a +2. This seems
Why didn't she just take the under?
This seems very specific for not a really big payoff. So
yeah. Could have just probably just could have took the under and made it a lot less complicated. But no,
let's take a look. Let's take a look at mine. I did keep it fairly simple tonight. Suns to win by 1 to 5 points at a +450 tonight. So yeah, we got that going for us. If you want to get a bet in on the BetMGM Sportsbook app right now, download the app, use the promo code PHNX, bet $5 on any bet there, and you're going to get $158 in bonus bets if it is your first time on the app. So do that today. It's really easy. Like I said, download the app and then sign up using that promo code PHNX. Bet $5. You're getting $158 in bonus bets, and you will receive those winnings instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to, I don't know, Shane or Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Get stuffed, Ontario. Gerald, what is your key to the game tonight? You got one for us?
Yeah, limit Bam Adebayo and keep the turnovers down. Turnovers were a huge problem, and Bam was a huge problem last time they played. You do those two things, you have a good chance of pulling this one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a script from last night. Just don't turn the ball over today, please. Like, we got to keep this team will kill you. We have to keep it under 10 turnovers, and for the love of God, shoot the damn 3-ball. Like, we can't have 14 3-pointers as a team. So if they can get 30 plus threes up and limit the turnovers, I actually think the Suns win this game.
Mine's just guard the perimeter, because if you let the Heat and Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and company go crazy from 3, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, mine is simple. Keep the Heat under 110 points, and you should find yourself in a position to win it tonight. Also, my other key, purple pants. Eric, can you show the other photo that I had to send you now to prove it?
All right.
That is the studio.
There we go.
There we go.
And that shows you how tiny
now
the space that you're sitting in.
Now I understand why you can't get up. I get it, brother.
We have one super chat, $1.99 from Frank, who said, tired of fans calling Book a ball hog, aren't we all? Hopefully that won't be the case tonight in post-game. Join us right here after the game. We will be live 5-10 minutes after the game, talking everything, win, lose. You can't have a draw, but whatever the outcome is, we'll be here for you. So for Gerald, Saul, and Flex, I'm Aspo. Ahoy, ahoy.
We all silly like the mayor.